Headphones on. Okay. This kind of blocks the. I didn't know that. Didn't know that blocked that. It's all good. Stop this. Yerp. What's happening? It's Chris Hall here. You are now tuned into the Chris Hall Show, where we discuss dating, relationships, and much, much more. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, give your boy a thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you are alerted anytime that I drop some new content. I know it's been a while, but we're back. We are back like cook crack. So, I will say, this is a very sensitive subject. It's a triggering subject. So like I always give the disclaimer before we jump into these topics is take 1,000 milligrams of if it don't apply, let it fly. And also a good rule of thumb is always to listen to understand instead of listening to respond. That's a big thing. Okay, that's just a communication piece, just in general. That's not gender specific. All right. But the title of today's topic is a woman in her 40s more valuable than a woman in her 20s? This was a part of my live podcast that we seem to be doing what some would say a series, right? Some would say would be a series to where we're going in and we're recapping some of the events from that night because, let's be honest, it was a private event. So we're bringing it to the public on live on the Chris Hall Show. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Also share the stream. That also helps. Give your boy a thumbs up as y'all mosey on in. You know, sit on down, come in. There's plenty of seats, okay? This ain't juice. While we wait here, did y'all watch the State of Union address at all? Seen your president talking up there? You know I'm gonna come out with a video about the mask at some point. You already know. All right. Anywho, y'all voted for him. I didn't. Anywho, here we go. So we're gonna jump right into it. I'm not gonna take too much of your time. We're just gonna get right into the video. Let's go. Out the gate. You hear me? Out the gate. Okay. Now this wasn't a part because, okay. Prior to the live podcast, I know it's like dance nigga explaining already. Prior to the live podcast, you know, I have a slew of thought-provoking discussions in my phone here, and I wanted to bring them to a live panel. So I had some cue cards up there, as y'all have seen, and I was asking questions. Now, the good thing about the Chris Hall live podcast is that these questions kind of can dwindle off into other questions. You know, they can transition and segue into other questions that weren't even a part of the show. And the good thing about what I'm trying to bring is that I want everything to be raw and live. I don't want it to be so scripted to that it seems like we're, you know, on TV. You know, it seems scripted. It's like we're looking at a bunch of paid actors. I like it when everyone is themselves, everyone can be themselves, and we can just have a open, honest conversation. The Chris Hall Show is a safe place, okay? You hear me? Anywho, So yeah, so this is, so if you see that I play a video that just starts off wilding, it's because it is a snippet or a segment of a question that just transitioned into another question in the situation. We're going to get right into it. The blows is being thrown early.
Wait. I got to say something first when you go to that scene. Okay, open nine. Wait.
Look how crazy it got when you are honest about one of the two things that women hold very dear to them. It's their age and their weight. When you're honest about these things, and I don't think this is one of those brutally honest things. I think this is scientifically proven. It's reality, to say the least. But the thing about it is that it's triggering, right? Because it's one of those taboo things. It's one of those taboo things to where you're not supposed to talk about it. That's the definition of taboo, but you're not supposed to say anything. And in this video, you're going to see how women are tribal. One of the most tribal species I've ever seen. But once somebody starts dividing them into separate categories, they will turn on each other expeditiously. And you will see in this video.
Hold on. When we talk about that, when she said the average man's salary, you took the Michael Jackson hat off and covered your face. So why, when I say a woman is not, hold on, let me run it off.
Okay, run it.
When I say a woman at 40 is not worth to a man the same equal value of when you're 20, why is that a problem?
So, and let me say, why
I didn't say to life.
Why do you think I took my hat off? I took my hat off because I was shocked that was 40,000. Not because
you said,
nigga, only
I have the tape.
40,000.
I hear the excerpts of everything. I have headphones on. I heard.
Now, mind you, when someone in the crowd Googled how much the average man makes, mind you, I was recording this on my Zoom podcast recorder. I was the only one with headphones. So the reason why I didn't use the audio from the mics is because there were things said in the mics that I don't think people would want want other people to hear, that you couldn't necessarily pick up on the camera. So I decided to only use the camera's audio. But trust you me, when the young lady read out how much, there was, trust me on this one. I've got the file. Okay? But here we go.
because I was shocked.
I gotta do this. Are you dating $40,000 men? Yes or no? Okay, so if I say a woman.
So either way, whether she reacted to the 40,000 because she was just shocked it was 40,000 versus what I said that she was more disgusted at a man who makes 40,000 as far as to date her, maybe not just in regular life, because I'm sure she calls people to fix things on her car and house that make 40,000 or less. And as she said, that's not what she was used to. So, but either way, she's not dating your average man, regardless of the fact. That's the end goal here. You're not dating anyone making $40,000 or less.
She a shock to
40.
me.
But you have to understand, men and women do not like the same. We're not symmetrical when it comes to dating. Men look at physical.
Of course.
Y'all look at what we can provide, what we can protect, and what we can profess. You hear me? So with that, we don't see the same things. Our eyes are completely different when it comes to dating.
I have proved this in real life. Fellas, I'm going to tell you how you can prove how the mindset of a man and a woman is completely different when it comes to the laws of attraction, right? Ask a woman, how does her friend look? Not some chick on the street, not some girl walking by, not even someone you know personally. Ask her, how does her friend look? And make sure that it's a friend that's not attractive to you. And listen to how she describes this friend. Her description of the friend is going to be completely different than your description of the friend. Because women look from within, goes inside out when it comes to women that they know. Men, we really don't care. We just call it like we see it.
Wow. So I always hear that. It's like, oh, women in their 40s, they're less valuable or whatever.
To a man, not in life.
There's always older men. There's always older men.
Older men, okay.
So this is a point that one of the young ladies on the panel tried to make, is that no matter how old you are as a woman, so if you're 30, there'll always be 40 and 50-year-olds. If you're 40, there'll always be 50 and 60-year-olds. If you're 50, there'll always be 60 and 70-year-olds, and so on and so forth. That is the point that this young lady was trying to make. Now, you have to look and listen closely to this, because there is a woman telling a man what men like at 50. Let me say that again for the kids in the back. There's a woman telling a man what he likes at 50. What men, let me not say what men like at 50. That is the crazy part about when you're discussing relationships with women. It's almost as if, regardless of what the man tells you, from his experience as being a man for 37 years, you as a woman who has never been a man are going to tell a man who he is going to find attractive. Is that not insane to y'all? Am I in a parallel universe? Maybe I'm tripping. I've thought recently that I've started looking at things for what they are and my eyes have opened. I can see why people think that they're crazy. And it's not everybody else. I don't know.
Yes,
you can have older men.
You're right.
You can have older men.
My dating pool, when I got older,
I'm not worried.
I am now 37. I garnered more women at 37 than I did at 27.
This is 100,000% true. Do you know why? Because when I was in my 20s, I was immature, like most of the men that you young ladies in your 20s are dating. The guys in college, 25, 24, 23, the guys your age. You're dating guys your age, and you're judging men off men that are 23 and 24 years old. You aren't supposed to be dating men that young. You can, but it would behoove you to date an older man, because an older man can provide more for you than a younger man in general. Okay? And I get it. You're 27. You want to date a 27-year-old because you think a 40-year-old is too old, or he's not going to be able to keep up with you or whatever. But we age gracefully. Okay? And the reason that my pool of women grows as I get older, because now all women are attracted to me. All ages, not literally every woman, okay? Every woman. But all ages are now attracted. When I'm 24, a 34-year-old woman wouldn't want to deal with me. She wouldn't. Usually. But now that when a man gets in his late 30s, the pendulum swings and he can go 40, 42, his age, and then he can go 23, 24, 25. So the world is his oyster at that point. It's not the same for women. It's just not.
Especially if you look at 20.
The reason being for that.
A woman at 40 is not garnering as much men as she garnered at 27, 26. You're just not. And there's nothing wrong with that. It happens. Like, this is life. That's life. It is what it is.
That is because women like older men. And when men get older, what do, Mike? They get more money, status, and things of that nature. More gravitas.
So if you as a woman,
I wouldn't mind being 30 days
what,
or
hold on,
55
what to a man, once a woman gets to 40, do you do now better than a woman in her 20s?
I can no, there's no way. I can't answer that as a 40-year-old woman. You don't even have the imaging.
Sure. Thank you.
Everything that you talked about earlier that was of value. All of the submission, all of the education. I certainly could be a better mother. Yes.
So this is when the women turn on each other. Is because they think that because you're older, that you can be a better mother. You have more education. You have more money. All these things do not matter to a man. A real man. And I do think that the communication between men and women, where we disconnect, is I think when women think of just men in general, or at least when you're having like a discussion, you're thinking of the worst of men. I'm going to assume that a lot of you, maybe once you get triggered, you think about the worst men. You get what I'm saying? Not the real men who pay the cost to be the boss and get to choose who they so well please to deal with. I don't think that y'all think of those men. There's no way. There's no way that you can think of those men. But this is when women turn on themselves. Why do you think that a woman that's 27 wouldn't be a good mother? That means that you're telling all women who have babies at 24, 23 are not good mothers? If you're an only child and you go your whole life without a serious relationship, like marriage, and now you're 42, why are you better fit to be a mother at 42? And this is just a random person. Why are you a better fit to be a mother than the same instance or the same background, but at 27? Why are you now better at 42? What skills have you acquired from 27 to 42 to be a better mother when you've never been a mother before? And then we go education.
On it.
What the hell? These phones just be talking to you. But then we go to education. For all intents and purposes, if you are dating a man who is taking care of himself, can pay his own mortgage, can pay his own car note, has money to sit you down as well, what does he need you to be, let's say, overly educated? Because if we're pushing from 20-something to 40-something, then now we're talking overly educated. We're not talking about you went to a community college for an associate's and now you're 42. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to assume when we talk about education, you didn't got all the way to 40-something. We're talking we're talking doctrines, PhDs, masters. Like, we're not talking about no associates and bachelors here. I hope not.
So you can take care of everything that you said. said that you needed from a woman.
Yes.
Certainly could do that.
So
And
somebody,
a 20-year-old is not going to hold your clothes, no breakfast.
In the 37 man. Because at 20 years old, my pool goes from 20 years old like me up to older, like it is for you. You know what I'm saying?
so if a man is 40, right, and you're 40, right? If let's say I don't have kids and I want to marry someone and have kids.
Yeah.
If you just said that women shouldn't pursue men for the most part. So if I'm in pursuit of a wife to bear children, would I look for a 40-year-old woman or a 20-year-old woman?
Now, that is an honest question, right? I figure when you're having a debate with women who bask in their feelings when they discuss things, that's fine. That's actually not, but you get what I mean. I try to go down to the most simplified level of logic and common sense I possibly can go. So whenever there's a discussion about older women versus younger women, I try to go straight to biology first. I go to, well, what does your OBGYN tell you? And it is insane when you talk to women that they would be so disingenuous just to be right or just to continue to argue with you. This is that when I told you about some women that I meet are just naturally argumentative when it comes to men, just naturally disagreeable. Just disagree on anything. I remember I had caught a girl one time being disagreeable for no reason. And I told her that. I said, you know, you're disagreeing for absolutely no reason. And it didn't even realize it.
I think it's creepy if you're 37 and you're looking at
The conversation is going to be
So then what'll happen is that women will get to name, and this is just in general. Like I had a conversation with a friend of mine. I think I was talking to Mike, to where due to the fact that women can't win physically against a man, they try to break him down. They try to break the inner child, the inner beta in men. They break that down. They break your spirit. And usually, just like in war, when you break someone's spirit, they're want to fight because there's a fight or flight in war. And when you take the spirit of a man, that's when you can conquer this person. And that's what women will do. That's their defense mechanism is words. So because you are 37 and you like a 23-year-old woman, you are now labeled creepy. Like I told you, fellas, make sure that you have thick skin when you go out into the dating world or just into the world in general. I think a lot of our boys are growing up to be men and are very soft. And I don't mean soft like you got to go punch people in the face for no apparent reason. I mean soft as in not being able to take a joke, not being able to take a punch as in emotionally, not being able to withstand the verbal lashing that a woman and only a woman can unleash upon a man, upon you, sir. Because they are very, very good when it comes to the name calling. So this is what a woman will do. Whenever a man likes something that they don't like, that you like, I know that sounds convoluted, but they're going to call you a name because of it. They're going to label you as something.
Why would, if I'm looking to have kids for long term, why? But that's not. Why would I have kids with me?
So even though everyone on this live stream and who's watching this replay back knows that it is more advantageous biologically or medically, clinically, whichever, for a woman to have a baby at an earlier age than it is to have one at an older age. Everybody knows this, but due to the fact that we're bringing it up in a man versus woman debate, They will not even take, because I be trying to put just little crumbs out there to take so we can try to get to some type of common ground and some type of understanding of what men are trying to tell you. But they won't even take the small bait. That would have been a great olive branch to if everyone in there, every woman, obviously, just agreed that it is more advantageous clinically to have a baby earlier than later. Everybody on God's green earth knows that. But the problem when it comes to communicating with women is that we can't come to some type of common ground. We can't agree on anything. Can we agree 1 + 1 is 2? Well, it depends on how many. What? Can we get one thing out the way and we can build? See, the thing that I try to do, I try to throw out those breadcrumbs to try to build and expound on that. Because now we're having a conversation. When you first come into a question like this, you're having an argument. You've seen the video started off with an explosion.
Somebody else
I
for it.
or we got you can speak to everybody of course able just like every other question. But some
I don't think this question is subjective at all. Not when it comes.
How is this question subjective? I have no idea. Riddle me this, Batman. When you seen Hugh Hefner in his mansion, in the Playboy Mansion, was he in the Playboy Mansion with 45-year-old women, with 50-year-old women, 42-year-old women? Absolutely not. And Hugh Hefner, didn't he die like 83 or something like that? Hugh Hefner was old as dirt, and he was hanging with 20-something-year-old porn stars. Okay? Hello? You don't see these things that you're saying. Where do you see this in mass? You don't see it anywhere. It's only because we bring it up in a discussion is when you have to disagree.
To childbirth, your OBGYN begs to differ.
I mean,
Okay, there's nothing wrong.
How do we, I mean what? I mean, am I tripping? Am I in a parallel universe? I'm telling y'all, that's why I do these videos so I could watch myself back and be like, damn, Chris Hall, are you crazy? Because it seems logical what you're saying, but it could just be you. I don't know. That's how insane things have gotten to where I've questioned my damn self. I question my damn self. Like, am I tripping? I just said that your OBGYN will beg to differ with it's probably better to have a baby with a 40-year-old woman. Your OBGYN will not agree with that. And she said, well, I mean,
So okay, wait. Okay, Chris. Okay, so I get it. So
then they try to tell you about how advanced technology is. Why don't I just go for the for sure bet? Why do I want to test how technology has advanced? Why? I don't think y'all are understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth. Some Major Pain type vibes. There's no way. Because I started off by saying or echoing that women don't pursue men for the most part. Men are out pursuing you for sex and or marriage. In that order. So if we're the ones out picking, why do we want to handicap ourselves by picking a 40-something-year-old if we have our pick of the litter? And I don't think y'all are understanding this. If you can go to any restaurant you want, this is going to sound bad, so hold on. If you can go to any restaurant you want, why would you pick up the coupons for McDonald's? Why do you get so you can get all the free coupons to anywhere that you want to eat at, and you grab the Big Macs with the special sauce? You're not going to do that. Not comparing older women to McDonald's, okay? But you know how I am with my analogies. They just come off the cuff, man. They fly off the cuff.
Everybody, hold on. Everybody, bring it in.
Mind you, hold on, real quick, caveat or side note. This does not mean that 40-year-old women are not attractive. I dated a 40-year-old when I was 35.
It's some cold.
But you said they're not.
So there's a disclaimer. See, it's funny. Women are very pessimistic when it comes to these conversations in dating. They don't go into these conversations in good faith. Even if they know you, they don't go into these conversations with good faith, so everything is a negative. The only thing that we were trying to prove is that to a man, which I thought was pretty standard, to a man, a woman in her 20s is more valuable to him as a wife and to bear children than a woman in her 40s. I figured that was an open and shut case. But this does not mean that 40-year-olds are not attractive. We're only comparing one-to-ones. We're comparing a woman in her 20s and a woman in her 40s. That's all. That's all the debate is about. It's not saying that an older woman is not attractive. I'm comparing the two. That's what you have to think about. Like, think about it. A $50,000 man and a $100,000 man, the same man, who are you going for? You can't tell me, well, or I mean, like that, you're not going to hesitate. I said it's the same person. Why would you hesitate?
When I was 23. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, I didn't marry her either. But what I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things. All right, how about this? Are we all in agreement that 51% of something is the majority? Are we good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so could we say that 51% of men would want to have kids with someone under 40?
No.
No?
That is absolutely insane. I cannot stress this enough. This is probably when I got a headache. This probably during this segment right here, because I could not wrap my head around how when I said that, the whole room went quiet. Even the men. And this is where in this event is when I notice how scared men are of women, especially in their presence. Because men will talk all this alpha male, high value shit and pimps up, hoes down in private with their homies. In this room where you have women in your face, I stated 51% of men would rather date and bear children and marry a woman in her 20s and a woman in her 40s. And there's plenty of men here. And the room went silent. And people started hitting me with the subjective verbiage. Well, I mean, it depends. What's wrong? Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Some of y'all need to be hard drug tested. Not regular drugs, hard drug. I'm talking fentanyl, crack, cocaine. I mean, some strong heroin. This is insane to me. Am I tripping? If you're watching this in the comment section, let me know, am I tripping? Give your boy a thumbs up if y'all come in, come out, whatever. I know you got shit to do. I understand. I ain't gonna keep it too much longer. Keep the party going.
The man in the room, the man need to be.
No.
I'm going crazy.
Oh my God. We can't further this conversation?
But that's not it.
Look how appalled I am. See, most of my content is just me voicing my opinion. I may go back and forth with some people in the comment section or something like that, which is fun, I will say. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. But when you talk to other women in a debate forum like this or a discussion, I don't like to call this a debate. I don't want to debate. I want us to learn. But it's completely different, man. It is completely different. That's why you have to be in attendance. If you've never done something like this, if you've only done this with your friends or family members after the Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, nah, this right here is where it's at.
The vast majority of men are not interested in having kids with women over 40. I'm a 38-year-old man.
Listen, okay.
The vast majority of men are not interested in women.
We're only talking about kids, though. We're only talking about having kids.
Wait a minute. I don't know.
I would say you look about 33.
Okay, you know how old I am?
No, tell
I'm
me.
37.
Okay.
You automatically assume that I was a young
Listen,
woman.
Yes.
And then you're trying to say that at 40 I ain't gonna have no value because I ain't 20.
I didn't see
No.
that.
There's the disconnect, fellas. Like I said, when I don't know what it is, fellas, when women hear men talk, it's as if it's negative automatically. They're going to go all the way negative to the highest integer they possibly can. It's going to be negative, negative, negative. So much so that they will miss the whole point. They'll miss the statement. You'll say something and a woman will say, I feel like you mean, or why you said it like that, even though you just said it. But when they say something, it's I said what I said. It's crazy how that works, isn't it? But as you see here, so there's a woman in the crowd. She believes that because she looks 32, that's supposed to change how old she is. Yes, sure. Remember, I said I dated a 40-year-old woman. Now, when I seen her, she don't look 40, okay? But she was. So once I actually found out her age, it then made me pause for the cause of marrying this woman and having more kids because I wanted to have more kids, and I still do. So that was a huge barrier, but she looked good. She probably still looks good, but that's not the reason why we're concerned about an older woman. Is how you look. There's plenty fine older women, plenty of them. That's cool. And it doesn't change the fact that you're over 40. In the comparison to a woman in her 20s, you can get married when you're over 40. The thing is, you're going to have to know that you're competing against women in their 20s. See, women don't think that they're competing against anybody. And that's the problem.
Zero-sum game again.
That's not what he said.
No. Like I said, women have a zero-sum game.
That's not what he said. No, as much value as women in their 20s.
Same value.
The same value as women 20 years ago.
The same.
Y'all gonna sit here and say that you're gonna sit here and say that when you were 20, women that were 40 were outpacing you. That could pull more men than you and all that. You're saying when you were 20.
What am I really doing that?
That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking.
Also, fellas, this whole show of the live podcast is a great learning tool for young men trying to talk to women. When a woman can't answer your question the way that you phrased it because it's going to make them wrong or look a certain way by telling the truth, they're going to rephrase your question in a way where they can answer it to not sound as bad. A woman who is about to be wrong cannot answer your question. And that's sad, man. I'll be really disappointed sometimes, because these are not just the people on the panel, in general, the women I speak to and I deal with are college educated women. It's very rare that I run into a woman who's not college educated. Y'all are the most enrolled. Let's specify that. So it's this whole, your educated part, to where earlier in the video, the woman tried to make it seem like because you are older, you're more educated. I would get into the same argument with a 40-year-old that I would with a 20-year-old. There's no difference. So there might be worse with the older one, because the younger one might not know. This is just stuff that she's been told, and that's the thing. You can mold a 20-year-old more than you can of an older woman. Or even if you're dealing with, let's say, a 32-year-old, 33, 34, and they just haven't had as many experience. It's just the experiences, ladies. And of course, the clinical part of it for having children, childbirth.
We're trying to, two men on the panel are trying to explain how men.
Trying to explain how, and
And all I'm saying is, I say, y'all aren't old. Y'all are 55, everybody's mom, so God.
Even when Mike echoed my same sentiments that I just told y'all, that there's two men on the panel trying to tell you what men want and do or think. Instead, you'd rather debate on why we shouldn't think that way. Is that not crazy?
So listen, there's a woman in this room that I specifically asked, like, as a man, what is the age that you, like, the cutoff for women that, like, as an age that you would do? Now, my age was 36. Your age was, who did you say?
27, 33.
27 and 33. The woman that I asked this question, her answer was 32. I'm a man and I said 36.
I'm trying to understand what it's about. As a 20-year-old, I don't have much experience. I don't know nothing about life.
Not realizing. See, older women don't realize this, because older women cherish the things that they've learned, right? Whether it's school, she said experiences. That was just vague. I mean, it could be any experience in work, experience in relationships, sexual experiences, but just experience in general. Women don't realize that your experiences are a negative. It is not a positive in most cases. And that's what she went with. Is the reason an older woman is better is because of their experiences. When in actuality, to a man, that is a negative. So I think that's the tipsy-topsy world that we live in today in 2022, is that even though a woman can hear a man say that whatever she thinks about how men think is wrong, it doesn't matter. And that's where we've come to. We've come to a point to where men's opinions, wants and needs, requirements don't matter. Because women, black women in particular, are trying to erase any stereotype or traditional norm or whatever that men have put on society, at least in Western civilization. They're trying to break all that stuff down. And with that, you get this. You get women who will argue what a man wants because they are not it. Just meaning that you're not what we said, okay? Not that men don't want you. Because like I said, you see the words that I said? even though I said them in a streamlined manner, I said them straight up in context. If someone heard that, just that point, they would think I said that this woman on the panel was not what men want. And that's the problem we have, is no matter what a man says, when it's pertaining to subjects of the heart, of emotions, of feelings that people can get triggered, you just think of it as a negative manner. I'm going to try this. We only got about 3 more minutes on the video, but I talk so goddamn much, right? That I'm prolonging the video. Let's get back into it.
But a man that's in a certain position doesn't need you. A man that's in a certain position doesn't need you to be able to
My
listen.
value is giving you kids, essentially.
And
That's
you're
what I'm
youthful.
trying to
And you're
understand. What is that?
youthful. A woman's youthfulness has a price, has a higher price. A woman's youthfulness has a higher price.
At 23 years old, I was married to a 38-year-old.
Right?
At 23
Yes.
years old, I was married to a 38-year-old.
Yep.
This 38-year-old was wearing his hat to the back, taking Viagra, and competing with niggas that were 23 that were my age. Like it's weird because it's like y'all find like there's nobody, like men compete with like ageism and shit like that too.
Sure.
So I don't think there should be something that
There's still
any
some
of us take
deficiencies
personally
when we get
because
older.
they don't realize like.
So it's almost like now we're trying to, I guess, talk bad about men who get old too, I guess. I usually hashtag you too, to where, like, let's say you'll say something about women or something like that. They'll say, well, the men do it too. So I don't know if this was kind of like an attempt to try to make men look bad when they're old because they popping Viagra. I don't know.
Men that are not married,
No hair.
you know what I'm saying, and they're definitely not married to 23-year-old or 20-year-old women. So like when we talking about their pursuit as women in this room, we gotta remember not to take that personally.
No, yeah, I understand. I'm trying to understand what's the value.
That's true.
Well, I was talking about having kids.
You can't
No,
marry.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, married. If I'm
Literally just you're healthier when you're 20
That's
than you
all
are
I'm
when you're
saying.
40.
I was just saying, men over 40, most of them have kids already. So that wouldn't be.
So now she's trying to argue that, no, you know what? Most men over 40 have kids already. So they don't want younger women to have kids with. They got kids already. And I don't know if these people were being genuine in their responses. I feel like they were, but I'm still shocked. I was completely floored by the fight that this crowd put up with the 40 versus 20 scenario.
Instant thought, like, oh, we're gonna chase around and have it, like, kids. That's all.
Well, I was just talking about a man who because technically, marriage for the most part, if y'all believe in God and what y'all said earlier, then marriage is to do what? To bear fruit, bear children, right? That's what
And if you
marriage
have a finite,
That's not the only
and if you have a
that's
finite
not the only
number,
purpose of marriage.
That is what marriage was. If you read your Bible, that is what marriage was made for.
That is not.
So now having children isn't the only purpose of marriage. Y'all don't understand how difficult it is to have an honest conversation with a woman. This is why all these niggas out here are lying to y'all. Because look at how long we're having an argument on something that is elementary. Everyone knows this, men and women alike, but due to the fact that it's in public in a discussion forum, we can't be honest anymore. We have to lie to each other and then go back in the private room and start telling the truth. And that's really the problem with the black culture in general. Don't let me get to speaking up in this joint. That is the problem, is that we all walk around lying to each other. All of us. We all walk around lying to each other and virtue signaling on who's the most virtuous, who's the biggest victim. And we all lie. We just go around lying because it makes us feel good.
Only purpose of marriage.
What is the purpose of getting married? I understand that everyone has
prosperous is the money part.
So do you think a 20-year-old woman is better mother than a 40-year-old woman?
And I sworn the Bible says be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. But the person who said that they were God-fearing and loved the Lord and all this other stuff says, nah, that's he was just playing. He was just playing. You know Jesus ain't for real. He was just playing when he said that.
What do you think, because we working on averages and everything like that,
20's,
you
yes.
think that a
27, yeah, mine is 27.
You said 20.
20.
Said.
Okay, 20 is fine.
20-year-old woman is going to be a better mom and wife than a 40-year-old woman?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Wow. Why?
100%. Because I'm there. Y'all see women think of single 20-year-old raising kids.
I don't know if y'all caught that. In the black community, childbirth and having kids is an occupancy of one. I don't know if y'all caught that. The mindset of having kids means that you're raising them by yourself, because there's so many single black mothers that in our minds, and this is real brainwashing. In our minds, a 20-year-old wouldn't be a good mother because we're thinking of Tupac's Brenda's Got a Baby type shit. To where you're a teenager having a baby and you got to throw it in the trash or something hyperbolic like that, something wild. No. If I'm marrying a 25-year-old woman and I impregnate this woman, why would she not be a good mother? For what reason? Can somebody tell me why a 25-year-old woman who is happily married to a man who's taking care of business, why would she not be a good mother again? No one, no one explained it.
I'm there. We forget that the man is there. The man has no place in society anymore. When it comes to kids, it's the kid and the mom.
So if the man is there, how is that different from the man being there with the 40-year-old woman? Right?
Oh my God. Are y'all as exhausted as me? Is that not crazy? That is insane to me. We already said that it is clinically proven that having kids at a younger age is better than having kids at an older age. So obviously it would not be the same with why would she bring in, well, it would be the same with a 40-year-old, you being there. No, man. We're not trying to have kids with someone that old if we have other options. That's all I'm saying. If you got the 20-year-old version of the 40-year-old, why would y'all? Are you serious? And mind you, there are women arguing this right now.
Because I can't have 3 kids with a 40-year-old woman. That's why.
Why not?
Lord, oh God, 3 kids with a 40-year-old. They said, why not? This is how lost some women are. Unless, like I said, unless this is a panel full of people trolling me. Maybe they're trolling me. I don't know. Maybe I could very well be getting trolled. Maybe everyone is trolling and they're just doing this for good production. Maybe they're just doing it to spice up the show. But there's no way that more than one person in this crowd of people, when I said that you don't want to have 3 kids with a 40-year-old, people said, why not? That is how disconnected women are from reality. You know this to be true, but you enjoy living in a fantasy world. If the Garden of Narnia was in your closet, you'd go in there. I guarantee you. Because that little bubble that you ladies create for yourself is safe. It's safe. Your feelings aren't hurt. But with that, you're disconnected from reality. And guess what, ladies? You know where the men are? Don't tell nobody this. In reality. That's why you can't find them.
Why?
Oh my God, I cannot believe
Dude, I'm trying to help you out, man. You keep it going my damn hand. I'm trying to say, hey, you get your ass whooped, man. I'm trying to help your ass out. I'm telling you what, you get jumped, you lose.
He said, someone in the crowd said, I was losing. Mind you, they've heard everything that I heard, but I was losing.
It's making us look bad.
Go ahead, Keon.
I do agree with him.
Alright, so all he is simply trying to say.
Yes.
I'm gonna need more than 2 minutes, my nigga.
Go ahead.
All he is simply trying to say is that when it comes down to the anatomy of the side.
John.
Excuse me,
John.
John. You loud.
One mic. We can hear you on the mic.
This is my boy.
No, we good.
All he is generally speaking of is, I think what we're failing to understand is that there's two different goals, right? There's two different goals, two different points of views, two different natures of the approach to the relationship, or in this particular example, the marriage, right? Men and women want to reproduce, right? So what he's speaking of in regards to value, he's not necessarily speaking of what can she offer from an experience point of view. You know, can she cook? Because I know some 50-year-old joints that can't cook. You know what I mean? So like, so when it comes down to the anatomy side of the house, when he speaks of value, he didn't say that they are not valuable. They may not have this.
100%.
He said more about.
Okay. So even if he did say the shit, right? So even if you did say same or less.
No, he said that.
No better than less value.
I said less than the women in her 20s. You were physically better in your 20s as far as you're in the inside, just the inside. I'm talking about marriage for the purpose of having kids. That's all I'm talking about. If you want to marry an older woman and you love her dearly, right?
Y'all don't have kids.
And y'all don't want to have kids, then so be
You're
it.
automatically high risk at 30.
At 35.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Right. I don't.
Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this, but the problem is the truth.
When he was just saying, every
That's what he's been saying.
woman,
That's what he's been
less
saying.
value.
Right there. That's what he's been saying. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
And he
didn't
passed
word
5
it
years
right, but I
old.
do get it. I get it now.
And he
Because
passed
I
5
don't want to
years.
have kids past 35.
There you
so I get it.
go. That's what
You
I'm
say
talking
in the
about.
dating realm,
Yes.
a
Men.
40-year-old, now she lost her spark, basically, is what
Y'all
you're
are
saying.
No.
See, and what you'll get is even though you'll say something word for word verbatim, when a woman repeats it, if a woman starts off a sentence with basically, they are going to totally butcher what you just said. Because instead of them hearing what you said, they felt it instead. And what they told you said back was how you made them feel. I don't know if that's just something genetic with women or what, but y'all regurgitate how what I said made you feel. Nowhere in this footage did I say that a 40-year-old has lost her spark or she is of zero value. The question was only comparing two people, a woman in her 20s, a woman in her 40s.
Not spark. Spark versus.
I say she can date older. You saying her value went down and
How about this? if you cloned two people, they have the exact same traits and they look the exact same. One is 27, the other one is 40. Which one do you think the man will choose at any age?
I guess we're saying two different things. I'm saying
No, and
Why can't we stay where we're at? This is another example of, like I said, I try to break it down to the smallest molecule to get what I like to call small wins. Small wins, and not wins as if I'm keeping score, me versus you. Small wins in just the growth of the conversation. At no point in this conversation did we agree on something so we can build on it. We could never get past the 40-year-old is less valuable to a man than a 20-year-old, than a woman in her 20s, than a woman in her 40s. It's how I really wanted to word it, but if they wanted to dig down to 40 and 20, that's cool. Either way.
No. Stay here.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta stay in the bubble. Stay in the bubble.
We're not moving from right here. This is good. We're not moving.
The whole.
So as you see, a question that you have to answer, like I said earlier, what I said earlier, they will try to rephrase the question instead of, because you can't get out of that question. No way. Or can you?
I can get over. Thank you. And she's a woman and she's picking a young one. And she's a woman.
But you just said my dating pool. What if I'm still fine at 40? My dating pool.
You're not as fine.
No,
You're men. We're men.
You're making
You
it.
think you're
I said I'm older.
What I'm telling you is that there's no version of you being 40 where a guy like me is going to think you have the same value
I'm
that
trying to
you do.
pursue the 38-year-old guy.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to pursue the 55-year-old guy.
And
Well, money.
we're
You
talking
don't
about
have the same
age.
value as a 35-year-old.
So you think me at
The scale's fine.
Wait. So you think me at 55 that I want my age of women preference goes up? That's what you think?
It's still a 40-year-old.
No.
It's still 15 years younger. It's still 15 years younger.
Is this not she is telling me what I would want at 50 something. That is how disconnected and dysfunctional we are as men and women. Is that someone on a live show can tell a grown ass man what he should and should not want at the age of 50 something. I just asked her, so you telling me that me at 50 something, I'm going to want my age goes up? And she's like, yeah, but it's me.
What's Chris Hall?
I think the main point.
And I know.
If I would date a 40-year-old again, she would be fine and look 20-something.
And you would be 55.
But I said, if you be with somebody 10 years older.
That's what I'm saying. And that's personal. Like I'm saying, it's always an older man who's here or someone here that has dated 21. I'm not trying to have
What is the majority? What is
So you
probability versus possibility?
So at 40, you want and that's your problem.
How about this? How about this? You have an imagination of what a 55-year-old would look like. There are all men in here that will hopefully turn 55 one day. Who would be better suited to answer this question? The men or the women? To what men would want at 55? You or us?
Right.
Yes, it's trying to. Again,
I'm trying to tell you.
Listen, what we're saying is that at 55, you can still get a woman that's 35.
Still get
Right. Still get a woman that's 30.
27.
25.
She can't take off her work. She's still.
You don't have to work. You don't have to work.
Now you're splitting
You don't have to
hairs.
work.
Now you're splitting
No,
hairs.
time out.
I'm saying always older men. Your dating pool don't have to change.
we're talking about at 55, he's gets 55-year-old, she not work. She can quit. He can take care of her. Now,
So what you're saying, even though
So you see how crazy that was. I think that, hey, maybe that Aaliyah song still lives today, that age ain't nothing but a number. So maybe women believe that age is nothing but a number. So it shouldn't matter how old somebody is, because I do understand this, that women do like to think of themselves as equal to each other. No one likes to seem better than the other, unless you're talking shit, and then it's you hoes can never, and this, that, and the third. But when you're as a group think, then yes, you all are equal. But to men, you are not. Some of y'all are better than others. That's just how y'all judge men the same. Y'all do not judge men as all equal. You don't. You don't let the same type of man have sex with you quicker than the other one. Oh yes, I know this. Some men you'll let have sex the same day. Some men you'll make them wait a couple weeks or months. Am I lying? I'm not lying. That's dead ass. Respectfully. But we are announcement as I close. We are planning on doing another live show this month. I'm waiting for some dates. I will get them back out to you. I will be inviting the same people back if they have time, you know, if you would be in the place to be. But I will also be adding more people. We've got more space. We're going to be handling business a little differently in there this time. And we're looking forward. Upwards and onwards, man. I am glad that the channel is growing. I appreciate every one of y'all. Make sure that you subscribe to the Chris Hall Show. Hit that button right below. Also, give your boy a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you're alerted anytime I get some new content. Also, we are live. Well, not live. We are streaming on all platforms. The Chris Hall Podcast. Make sure that you stay tapped in. And hell, that's it. That's all, man. I'm out.